Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo here. I'm going to take one more stab at the standard metagame challenge, this time with a new brew. This is a green-black ramp deck, I guess I would describe it as. So green is kind of the color that nobody uses in standard for the most part, and the real reason for that, I think, is that there are no good one-mana green cards, except for, very specific strategies. If you're playing an enchantment deck, you can play Generous Visitor. If you're playing a toxic deck, you can play Venerated Rot Priest, I think is the name of it. But it just for like a general, I just want to build a green mid-range deck just focused on playing good cards, you don't get any good one-mana plays. That's why you can't really play a mono green deck in standard. You have to have one-mana cards in standard. The cards are so powerful, and it's so easy to get enough value that you don't run out of stuff to do, that you need to have one-mana cards so that if you fall a little bit behind, you need one-mana cards that can allow you to catch up, so you can play 2 spells in a turn at some point, or just playing a card on turn 1 if you're on the draw playing a removal spell is pretty important to not falling too far behind. So that's why you need to have one-mana cards, and the lack of one-mana cards really keeps green down. So when I wanted to build a green ramp deck, I was looking for what color can I pair with green in order to get some one-mana cards. Black, I think, is the obvious answer, because you get cut down, and I also have Duress in my sideboard. So that's why I wound up being green-black. The idea behind this deck is I wanted to try some of these Praetors that they're pretty expensive on their own, and they cost even more mana to flip them. And ideally, like, once you start flipping them, you're probably going to win the game, because the backside of both of these is just completely ridiculous. So it would take your opponent doing something pretty exceptional to keep up with you. Another card I was interested in trying is Breach the Multiverse. So this is mill 10, and you get a creature or a planeswalker for each player's graveyard. So obviously with my deck, I'm hoping to bring back Vorinclex or this Sheoldred. And then maybe I play against somebody who's playing with Atraxa. Maybe they just have Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Pretty much every deck's going to have something. So it's a pretty clean 2-for-1 where you get, the cards in play. So you're spending 7 mana on this, and hopefully you're going to get about 10 mana worth of permanents into play. And it can be more than that. Like if you hit Atraxa plus Sheoldred, you're getting 12 mana worth of permanents. Another thing that this deck has going for it is this Topiary Stomper, which is a card that hasn't caught on a ton in standard. It looks pretty good, but it can also be a little bit awkward. But if you ramp Topiary Stomper into Invasion of Zendikar, and you have a 4th land to play from your hand, you get 4 lands from your hand, 1 from Topiary Stomper, 2 from Invasion of Zendikar. They're all in play on turn 4, meaning that Topiary Stomper can attack and can immediately flip this battle if they don't have a way to block the Topiary Stomper. And it's a 4/4 that's attacking on turn 4, so a lot of the times if you're on the play, they're not going to have something that can effectively block it. So that gives you a really good curve out start, and that you wind up with effectively 8 mana in play because of the Awakened Skyclave being in play. So you're well set up to take advantage of your more expensive cards from that point. 3 Sheoldred the Apocalypses, 3 Glissa Sunslayers. I think these are both just very strong cards. They're both weak to go for the throat, but if they get to stay in play, they're incredibly powerful. 4 Armored Scrapgorgers as a bit of ramping, but also I was concerned with this deck that since I am milling my opponent, that if I'm playing against someone who's playing an Atraxa reanimation strategy, I probably want the ability to control what cards are in their graveyard over the course of a long game. Like, ideally, I'm getting their Atraxa from Breach the Multiverse, but if I'm not going to be the one who gets it, I want to be able to exile it so my opponent doesn't get it. 1 Shigeki, which it's kind of a ramp card. It's a little bit inefficient as a ramp card, but it is a way to kind of convert all of your mana into some good value. You cannot get back legendary permanents with this. The reason for that is otherwise you'd be able to loop 2 Shigekis and just keep getting back more and more cards as you sunk more and more mana into it. So you can only get back non-legendaries, but you can get back Breach the Multiverse, you can get back the one of Gix's command, you can get back removal spells. So those are the things that you're getting back with Shigeki. 2 Reckoner Bankbusters, just to have some card drawing, but also I think Reckoner Bankbuster pairs really well with Topiary Stomper, because this is a 2-drop that you then have a 3-drop that wouldn't be doing anything for you normally, but it can crew your Bankbuster until you get your 7th land in play. Also, Glissa can crew the Bankbuster right away if you want to be able to attack for 4 on turn 3, which, why not? The mana base, nothing too unusual going on here. The one thing, I did play one Ziatora's Proving Ground, both because it's a green-black duel, but also because Vorinclex gets any kind of forest, so you can go and get Ziatora's Proving Ground if you wind up wanting to cycle the forest, which, I mean, you had 5 mana and you're going and getting 2 more lands. You're probably going to be able to afford to cycle one. I didn't want to play more just because I didn't want to have tapped lands, and I think the colored mana in this deck is fine. I don't need to convert another basic into a duel. Sideboard, obviously I'm going to have a hard time with more controlling strategies with my, ramp strategy that's just everything is counterable. So I've got 4 Duresses to fight against that. Got some Gix's commands. This is mostly to give me, if I get paired against Esper Legends, I want to be able to lower my curve and have something that's more of a board presence card. So I'm planning to cut my Breach the Multiverses in that matchup, and I'll go up to 3 Gix's commands. 4th cut down, 1 Pilfer. This is, again, if I'm playing against Atraxa strategies, this is a way to get Atraxa out of their hand. 1 Sheoldred's Edict, just in case I'm playing against people who have Planeswalkers I might want to get rid of. A Tear Asunder, just a little bit different removal spell. This is nice in that it exiles, so if I'm playing against someone who has Hidetsugu and Kairi, exiling removal is really good there. I'll board it in there. Some Wax. This is also against Esper Legends primarily, but, any white creature deck, obviously. And then 2 Nissa Ascendant Animuses. This is to give me a threat that I think is effective against mono-white control. And 1 Unlicensed Hearse, just to have a 5th way to control my opponent's graveyard in case they're trying to reanimate Atraxa. So that's the deck. I don't have a ton of reps with it. I played it a little bit, and it does powerful things. So let's see how it does in a metagame challenge. I'm going to keep this hand, even though it's a little scary that I don't have a 3 or 4 mana play. Might just be using Bankbuster on turn 3, hoping to find something for turn 4. I'm going to play Ziatora's Proving Ground as a tap land on turn 1. This deck wants to make all of its land drops till it gets to at least 7 mana in play, so I think that'll be fine. Oh no, they're duressing me from the get-go, taking my Bankbuster. I'm still going to play the Proving Ground, just I've got 2 5-mana drops, so I'm going to want to make my 5th land drop. Hopefully I don't draw another land next turn. It'd be nice to draw a Topiary Stomper. Or another land. Opponent's really going in the tank here. I hope it means all the cards in their hand are bad. It's like 4 double white cards is what's in their hand, and they're all bad double white cards. I was wrong. It was 1 card, and it's actually pretty good, so their hand must be pretty good. I should do this now because of Positive Harmony. So what's going to happen is they're probably going to take the spells off of this thing. They might take the treasures that they're planning to play Atraxa. Oh. Okay, they just hidden Atraxa, which they're going to be able to go land Atraxa, get a treasure. I'm going to be able to clean up the board with Gix's command, but it's probably not going to be enough. Whiff. 10 lands. What'd they hit? They didn't hit 10 lands. They hit a Cruelty of Gix and a Planeswalker. Not great. It's Atraxa. It's back. Another Atraxa, and I go for the throat. The go for the throat's going to be a problem. So the reason I haven't conceded from this game is that I think if I actually top deck Breach the Multiverse, I have a shot to come back in the game. It's not a good shot, but I'm not completely dead yet.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
Where were you earlier? I was just going to get spited, but it's fine, I suppose. I should have played these in the other order. I denied myself a trigger of Sheoldred, which I don't think is going to be the deciding factor. They did just put a card on the bottom. I don't think it was possible for them to put enough stuff on the bottom to make it so that they can't get an Atraxa into play this turn.
You won't be outsmarting me.
I maybe should have had Cruelty of Gix in my deck. I wanted to try the other 5 mana cards more. Would certainly be a good card to have access to in this sort of matchup. Whoa, they're taking my Sheoldred. Okay. They want to try out my deck some. They can't even flip this because it requires 8 cards in the yard. I think that's a big weakness of this card. I mean, the flipping is already so expensive. The fact that you need to have 8 cards in the yard, it makes it so this card is not as good as it looks. Well, I don't know how good it looks, but it's a big drawback that you can't flip it whenever you want. Okay, I drew the card that I was hoping to draw, so maybe we can actually do something. The multiverse, it's being breached. Of course, I did make it now, so they're going to be able to flip the Sheoldred. I will take a Breach the Multiverse. I'll take a land. An enchantment. Creature instant. I may have messed up by playing a land this turn, because they're going to get to do this ability. Oh wait, they can't transform this. It's going to come into play on my side, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'm going to win because I think they're going to exile this, and it's going to be in play on my side. I also didn't play a land this turn. Taking this was really bad for them. I love it when this happens. All right, that went better than I was hoping. Gix's command was good that game. I don't think it's actually good in this matchup. It might be better than all these Sheoldreds, though. I think I want 1 Tear Asunder. I think Sheoldred's Edict is probably better than Go for the Throat. You know what, I'm going to cut another Sheoldred the Apocalypse and just have 1 Gix's command. It was good that game. Whoa. Didn't want max cutdowns, I want max Duresses. I think this is by far my best card in this matchup. I'm going to be very sad to see it go to this Duress. I forgot to put the Unlicensed Hearse in my deck. Why didn't someone tell me? They took the go for the throat, which presumably means they're going to play something good in the first turn or two. I think maybe it's going to be a Fable the Mirror Breaker. Which they know I have the Glissa, so I think we can assume the Glissa's going to die. I'm not going to beside you the Fable the Mirror Breaker. I think ramping my opponent like that is just... it goes wrong too often. Glad they didn't discard Atraxa there. At least don't have a card that can kill my Topiary Stomper. Maybe they just have Liliana. Maybe that was the plan when they left me. Well, they couldn't arrest the Glissa, so yeah, they have Liliana. Okay. Topiary Stomper turns out was a pretty good draw.
Something suspicious is going on. And for once, it's not my fault. I'm tired of your secrets.
This is kind of a bad sign. I think it means that they need the treasure to cast Atraxa. Card is that? Oh, Brotherhood's End. That's not a card that they need against me. Am I just blind breaching? Yeah, I guess. I forgot I could get the Liliana. That's pretty nice.
I've always hated crowds.
So they really want to go for the throat, the Sheoldred this turn. They also wanted to unawaken the Skyclave. It's an unawakened Skyclave. Now the only problem is they're about to reanimate an Atraxa again.
Drop it.
With Cruelty of Gix. I guess they might Oh, they can afford the Brotherhood's end. Cruelty of Gix? Yeah, this is... Whoa, they're playing Atsushi? Don't do that, opponent. What if I had top deck Duress? I don't think there's a reason to kill this with the trigger on the stack. I'll force them to make their decisions first, but there's probably no wrong way to do this. Another Cruelty of Gix. I guess I got them to cast the Duress that turn. That's small victory. This Duress is a pretty big victory, actually. So now their hand is kind of bad. If I can just draw another Behold or a Sheoldred, or I think even a Vorinclex would maybe do a lot. Glissa Sunslayer, that's actually not too bad. It's going to do some Sunslaying probably. I don't think I want to attack. If I attack, I take 3 damage to draw a card, and they get to crack back. Maybe next turn I'll do that. Let's see what I draw. It's another Topiary Stomper. I'm willing to double block now if they attack with the Sheoldred. Or I don't think that they have like a go for the throat in their hand. They would have cast it and just attacked me. But if I double block and they play go for the throat, it's fine. These Topiary Stompers aren't doing anything but blocking anyway. That was not an ideal draw. Maybe they'll decide they really hate this Glissa and they'll be like, Blood Tithe Harvester it to make it a 1/1, cut it down, and then I'll play the other one. Probably not, now that they've duressed me and seen that I have another Glissa in my hand. Atraxa. That's not good for me. I'm going to board in the Unlicensed Hearse now. Should I cut a Glissa for it, or the Sheoldred? I think the Sheoldred's the worst card. I did kind of lose to it, but I don't think it's actually going to be a good card in this matchup. I also realized I forgot to board in the Pilfer. My sideboarding has not been on point. I wonder if it'd be worth just having the Stone Brain in this matchup. I'm not sure their deck could win if I took their Atraxas. Like, it would still do things, but it wouldn't be that good of things. I guess they could still win just off Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Blood Tithe Harvester. That's capable of beating anyone at any point. Where are all the cards for the graveyard, opponent?
I'll have this fight finished before brunch.
I'm gonna pitch Gix's command here. I'm gonna Tear Asunder the Liliana. Except that's not a legal play, so I'm not gonna do that. That was the problem with that play, was it wasn't a legal play. No, I should have done that manually, so I could have gotten 2 counters on one of them.
Haven't you ever heard of personal space?
It's time for some sushi.
Take my zombies and leave.
Do I want to start flipping this? Mill 10 cards, put up to 2 creature cards from among the milled cards onto the battlefield. So that's only my graveyard. I think I'm going to Breach the Multiverse next turn, and I think I want to have the option of taking the Liliana. Do I? I think I do. So I'm just going to take the Tear Asunder out of the yard. This is I guess if I hit 2 Atraxas, this can go pretty bad. I think I'm just going to take their Sheoldred. I don't think I actually want to make them discard, because they might have an Atraxa in their hand that they would discard, and then they could go to the Gix back next turn, which I think is going to be about their only way to get back in the game. Certainly cycling Sekenzan as step 1 is not what they needed. Alright, that was the warm-up match. I'm ready to sideboard better. I'm ready to understand what my cards do, so if my opponent steals Sheoldred again, I'm going to realize that if they flip it, it helps me, not them. It's nothing but good things from here on out. We're going to be invading Zendikar next turn. The Weaver of Blossoms. I accept. What do you think I'm going to get out of their deck? We know it could be a Weaver of Blossoms. Be a Jewel Thief. Could be a Paxong Pup. Come on, something good. I have more faith in my deck than my opponents. Ooh, I could get a Luca? Bound to Ruin. I hit... What is that, 8 spells from their deck? I think I want Luca. What does my graveyard have to offer? The Apocalypse. Oh, should I have minus this? Oh, Luca deals the damage. It doesn't work with Death Touch. I have no idea what this card does when it flips. Going after the Luca. Okay.
One day my claws will beat your head.
The multiverse, it's been breached. Come on, something good. Titan of Industry is going to be hard to beat out of their deck. I can go for a Vorinclex. Should I sideboard? Is there anything I really don't like? I think all of my cards are fine. Scrapgorger gives me access to black mana, which I think makes this hand perfectly fine. Also, it didn't seem from game 1 that my opponent's deck really had very much removal in it. It seemed like it was just all wolf-themed creatures. I'll play scared. Who knows what they could have in their deck. Some sort of +1/+1 counter to wolves card. If this thing died, I probably would lose the game on the spot. Please don't kill my Glissa. Please don't kill my Glissa. Howlpack Piper, that's a good card. I wonder if I should have Howlpack Piper in my deck. I would like to have it in my deck, but maybe I shouldn't. Thinking we can afford to start brawling. I'm gonna go Shigeki, go for the throat, the Pack Song Pup, I think. Guess I don't need to do it yet. Let's see if they play something more threatening. I don't know if this counts as more threatening or not. It counts as something. It definitely counts. Do I want to leave the Howlpack Piper in the yard? Nah. I'm going to leave my graveyard juicy because I have this Shigeki. And it's not like hitting the Howlpack Piper is good for me. I guess this is one, this doesn't exile when it transforms, so actually that's not true. This thing transforming would actually help me. It wouldn't be like what happened to my opponent in the first match. Whether something gets exiled or not when it transforms, it depends on if it has, if they, somehow the rules of Magic work in a way that things can't gain loyalty counters or lore counters by transforming. Like, don't even ask me like why it's like this, but that is why that card exiles when it transforms. Oh, this is another reason to play Ziatora's Proving Ground, because I really just wanted more black mana. Yeah, I wonder if I should have 2 of those.
Wait for the perfect moment to strike.
I don't know what this is, but I don't really care. If my Vorinclex dies here, that's fine. It's just coming back next turn with Breach the Multiverse. There's an instant speed Titanium Industry. Wow. Nice. If you had asked me to guess what was about to happen, I wouldn't have guessed that. I just wouldn't have guessed it at all. Any number of guesses and I wouldn't get it. So this has a shield counter, so attacking with Glissa is really not that appealing. I'm going to do better than Kessig Naturalists on this mill. I can sense it. I was right. So there's a Titan of Industry and a Tovolar's Huntmaster. And I'm getting a Sheoldred, which... they're probably going to sack their Arlen Cord, too. That's not enough lands. This is a lot better. I think I'm going to bottom the Shigeki. Like, it'd be nice to play it on turn 2, but I'm going to spend all my mana on turn 3 on this, all my mana on turn 4 on this. So it would just be hanging out as a 1/3 for several turns. Oh no, this is not a good draw against that deck. Oh, that probably helps, or maybe helps. If I hadn't drawn only Pain Lands as my green mana, this would actually be not that bad. Ow! Stop hurting me, Topiary Stomper. At least it gives me a forest. So I need to top deck a land next turn to have the good curve. I did not. Guess I'm just going to play this instead then. That was a big draw step. I maybe could have turned the corner if I had had a land there. I'm at 7 and they don't seem to have much going on, so that going for me. I don't think I'm going to be spending mana on flipping this, so I'm not going to worry about leaving cards in their yard. There is there's weird tension with how you manipulate the graveyards with this deck, I'm realizing. And I'm not sure I like it. Ow. Please stop hurting me. I really need to find the Sheoldred the Apocalypse. I'm going to kill them pretty quickly. If they don't have 3 more damage, they have 3 more damage. Breach the Multiverse is too expensive. Certainly want my cut down. Duress is actually kind of like. I think Shigeki is too expensive. Probably going to board in some Duresses. Do I want another Gix's Command? Maybe over a Bankbuster? I should maybe just have fewer Bankbusters in my deck. I think I'm going to go with this. Yeah, the most appealing card is the 4th Duress. Maybe over a Topiary Stomper. The main, like, a big part of the appeal of the Duress is just taking away the removal spell that kills Sheoldred the Apocalypse. Because if you can get Sheoldred the Apocalypse to sit and play against red, you almost always win. It's time to take Kamano Face's Kakazan. Whoa, Kessig Flame Breather. I see. So I'm going to cut down the Feldune, and then I'm going to Duress their... I guess I don't need to Duress the Stoke necessarily this turn. I could just leave up mana to go for the Throat the Flame Breather. Well, I drew a dual land, so it doesn't matter. Kind of get what they're attempting with this Flame Breather, but I think it's probably too weak. I don't think it really matters which basics I pick here. Alright, we need to draw Sheoldred, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, Vorinclex, Glissa Sunslayer. Any of those things would be good. This can't get battles, right? Guess I could have drawn a worse card than that. In really long games, you can eventually run out of forests to get with Vorinclex, but I don't think that's going to be an issue for this game. I'm still at 12 life. I feel like I've had a lot go right this game. And still not in great shape. What is this card? Coming in hot. An unexpected inclusion. Oh no, they scried to the top. Change of plans. For a while they were attacking me. Now they've switched it up. They're going for the battle. It's Feldune. Scrapgorger's a pretty good Feldune blocker. This thing is pretty nasty when it's flipped. You're not Sheoldred the Apocalypse. I really need to draw Gix's Command. Turn this whole situation around. That is not what I needed. Finally, the Skyclave has been awakened. That's progress. I don't like this. Ugh. Maybe if I draw Vorinclex next turn. done it. I've drawn Vorinclex. I think I'm going to be flipping it. Costs 8 mana to flip. 5, 6, 7. So I can flip it, but I have to tap the pilot. What am I going to be getting back? I think I get back enough that it's worth it. Wait, I don't have to tap the pilot to do this. What am I talking about? I have to tap the Awakened Skyclave. It was kind of where I was getting confused. Up to 2 cards from among the milled cards. Oh, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I go to 4 if I block like this. So this is playing around them having exactly Stoke the Flames in their hand. I am giving them access to a free card, but I think I kill them. Well, if they have Stoke the Flames, they kill the Sheoldred, but I still deal a ton of damage. They should have stoked the Sheoldred. This doesn't work. Mistakes were made. This has been a really sloppy video. In my head, what was going to happen was I was going to crew the Bankbuster. I still lose to another Stoke or an Invasion of Regatha. So I'm actually not in great shape. What do they hit? Show me, Arena. They hit Play with Fire. Oh. Was there a better way I could have played my previous turn? I don't think so. I mean, I could have not chumped with the 1/1 pilot to not play around Stoke, and then I would have had lethal, but I would have died to their Stoke. The fact that they drew Stoke at the end of that was rough. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. That 2-1 with that deck isn't a disappointing result, given that it is a new brew. I hope you enjoyed it. The first match was cool. I mean, obviously my opponent kind of messed up to allow me to win the first game, or we wouldn't have even gotten this far, but it was a fun match nonetheless. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.